Bismarck Insights with Mayor Mike Schmitz, a transparent and engaging conversational dive into meaningful topics impacting local government in Bismarck, North Dakota. Bismarck Insights is dedicated to removing barriers between the City of Bismarck and the citizens we serve every day.
Hello and welcome to Bismarck Insights. I'm Mayor Mike Schmitz, and today I have with me the Bismarck-Mandan Convention and Visitors Bureau Director or
CEO, Director, whatever you want to call it.
Sheri Grossman, and thank you, Sheri, for joining me today. We're just, trying to share information about what's going on in the community. I spent a lot of time focusing on departments, and we'll continue to do that for the city, but also we have many great partners of the City of Bismarck and the community, and you being one of those. So, Sheri, why don't you help people know a little bit more about you, what got you to be the Executive Director of the Bismarck-Mandan Convention and Visitors Bureau, and a little bit of your history.
Sure. I'm a North Dakota person all my life. I grew up in Linton, a small town from here. I have degrees from Valley City University and the University of Mary. I never thought I'd end up having a career in tourism. At one point, I worked at the Energy Environmental Research Center in Grand Forks. And part of my duties, I started planning meetings for them. And that kind of sparked my interest in this. The meetings that I planned were not in Grand Forks, they were out of state. So I kind of started learning that other side of it. And at the time that we moved back to Bismarck, I was planning a meeting in Prague. So I got the other side of it. And then when an opening opened up at the Convention Visitors Bureau, kind of sparked my interest that I might be interested in that side of it. So I started in 1997, and I've had a variety of positions there. I was a sales manager, director of sales, and the chief operating officer. And then I've been the CEO for the last, well, it'll be 10 years in April, I guess.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
So for those people who do not really know what you do or what the Convention and Visitor Bureau does for the community, which, I mean, it's a lot, but I don't think a lot of people really understand what you're doing. Can you give the audience some background to that?
Sure. So our mission is to promote quality visitor experiences resulting in community economic growth and quality of place. So we do that a variety of ways. We work with meetings, conventions, and the leisure traveler, both domestic and international. Most of our efforts are directed towards meetings, conventions, and events. They're kind of the more splash, what the community sees more. And we work on getting them here and retaining them. I think people don't realize it's competitive. It's competitive within the state, it's competitive nationally, and we form relationships with these meeting event planners. We prepare bids for them. They don't automatically come here. They're going to want to know what they're going to get. So we have a very nice, beautiful proposal, digital, that we put together. We seek the facilities in town that will work for that. People think, oh, I want to have a meeting here. I'm going to have to call every hotel. I'm going to have to check with the event center. They don't need to do that. They can call us. We have a system, online system. They tell us what they need. We reach out to all the people. We get all the information. We put it together for them. We're kind of the middle person. We don't run the events. We kind of put the package together. We have all kinds of services that we offer for them. If they have room nights here, we do name badges for them. People don't think that's a big deal, but if you're a meeting planner, we do $40,000 a year. It is kind of a big deal, and our meetings really have a great impact. You can see here that last year we hosted 290 meetings. Now these are just the meetings that we work with. Yep. There's more here, but they're the ones that require our services. Those meetings brought in just around 270,000 people. And while they were here, they spent over $23 million in our community.
And that's a significant economic impact, because that $23 million then has a multiplying effect.
Exactly. That's direct expenditure.
Which we're not, factoring into that, but that's money spent at our hotels, our restaurants, and the shopping facilities that we have, or our retailers all across town, correct?
Exactly. Yeah.
And you talk about retaining them. That's so that we get them to come back more than just the one time they're here, right?
It is, and you really want to keep that repeat business, because we all know it costs more to get a customer back once you've lost them. Mm-hmm. So once they go to another city, it's much more difficult to get them back here again.
So how do you work with the local businesses, because they're your partner in this endeavor, right?
Right, right. So partners are key to what we do. Like we say, we can work in getting them here. We can't run the event. We can't manage the conference. So relationships are important. For our sporting events, we have great relationships with both park departments. We do a lot of events, sporting events, and partnerships all around are important. And so for us to kind of figure out where the people are staying, who's getting the benefits, we recently partnered with a company called Zardico. And Zardico they use geolocation, spending, and lodging to kind of identify ideal markets so we can attract the people that will come, stay, and spend money while they're here. We get so much information from them. We can dissect it in so many different ways. The information is only about 10 days behind, so we can really analyze the event. But for today, I have some information from I think it was through October of this year. So visitors, up through October of this year, visitors represented 37% of all the devices in our community. So they track your phones. You know, if you open up a weather app, they've got you, and they can track you going through Bismarck and Mandan. So 35% of the devices were visitors, and 25% of all of the spending activity was from visitors. So
that's very significant
It's
in my
huge.
mind, because we're not a small community.
no.
Between the two communities here, Bismarck and Mandan, and our wider metro area, including both counties and Lincoln as well. Obviously, there's more retail in Bismarck than there is in both the other two communities, but to think that we're a metro of over 100,000 people, 125,000 people probably, and 25% of our retail spend, our restaurant spend, is coming from outside the community. That's incredible. That's very, very important and actually encouraging.
It is important, and you know, and the interesting thing is those that commute here every day, they're taken out of the equation. They know those phones sleep, so to speak, when they get here, so they're taken out. And I think the good news is we saw an increase over last year. The devices was an increase of 7%, and the visitor spending was over 13% more than last year. And kind of where they're spending the money, 51% was on food, 24% on retail, and the biggest expenditures was accommodations, $336, and food was $181. And what you can kind of see on this one, what helps us a little bit, it shows that this last year, 52% of our visitors were between age 25 and 54. 17% had a household income over 100,000, and 45% had children. So this kind of helps us determine where we market, what kind of markets, if this is what we want to continue, or if we feel we're missing a market, you know, we can direct some expenditures the other direction.
And having that data helps our local businesses too, because we can tell them, you can tell them, and certainly as a partner to the city and to the Chamber and the Downtowners Association and both communities and the Mandan Metropolitan Organization, we can tell those businesses, hey, this is where they're coming from. This is the type of people, so they know how to market as well.
Exactly, exactly.
And what I like about it is we just talked about that 25% of that activity is coming from out of town, and they're spending dollars here. We're in the communities collecting sales tax, which is helping our infrastructure.
Exactly.
And helping reduce the burden for our residents on taxpayers, so we can maintain streets, whether it's snow removal or just the repair of them, or improvements.
You know, and I think that's a very good point, sort of, in our partnership on that. Sometimes I'll get a call and say, Class B's basketball's in town. We don't like it when you get these tournaments here. Our restaurants are just so full. They're so full, this does nothing for me. I don't own a restaurant. It doesn't do anything. And it does. Like you say, they generate the sales tax that you can use for a whole variety of things. I had a colleague in another city that he had this pothole theory. He would say how many visitors it takes to fix a pothole, and I don't know how to figure that out. Maybe you have someone at the city and we can kind of figure that out together, how many visitors it takes to fix a pothole.
I suspect we could probably figure that out to a certain degree, because some of our funding for our regular maintenance of street repairs does come from one of the tranches of sales tax that is collected, and it certainly reduces the burden on property taxes. And that's the partnership that I see that the Convention and Visitor Bureau has for both Bismarck-Mandan or Mandan and Bismarck, is we have this ongoing relationship, but we have more than that as a partnership because it's also helping our event center.
Yeah, exactly. So Bismarck collects a 2% lodging tax. So we have a contract with the city gets 75% of the lodging tax. And sorry,
Other way around.
Other way around. The CVB gets 75% of the lodging tax, and the city gets 25% that they use for the event center. And as you mentioned, we have a common goal. Our goal is to bring visitors here to increase the impact to our community. And we work together on a lot of things. A couple of things that have come to mind is one event that we worked with the event center is the Firefighters Challenge. We had that here a couple of years, and although that didn't bring in a lot of people, it brought people from all over the country. And the nice thing about that is during the day, our firefighters had a chance to do training, training that they wouldn't have otherwise had the opportunity to do. And they also got to compete in a national competition that they wouldn't have had the opportunity to do before. And of course, the Williston Basin Conference, that's huge for our community, and that wouldn't happen without the partnership between the two of us. We couldn't do that without each other, and we're both heavily involved. They need the city, and we help them with so many things. And one example, several years ago when the Bakken boom was really going, and the directors of that kind of said, I don't know if we can continue coming here. They said, it's a problem with our hotels. We're having trouble finding hotels. So we came up with a housing bureau for it, that they just one stop, they go there and they can make the reservation. So it's kind of a way that we have the facility, but there's so much more we need to make it happen as well.
And you also have been a part of, and I thank you for some selections with regard to how we manage the event center and how we attract help attract those events to town, and which events make the most sense for true economic growth. It's not just always about, we want to have this entertainer here to have a concert. That's great. We want to have some of that. Obviously, that's important to our community. But also, how do we backfill the rest of the dates with the functions that attract people to come here and spend money?
Exactly. And it really involves working together, because we're lucky that we have so many state meetings here. The event center is really full on a lot of dates. So together we have to find those dates and the type of business that will fit here when we have some openings. And so that's a process of working together. Or like North Dakota Pool, it's a very big event for us, had made some decisions that they were maybe going to move elsewhere. So we partnered with the city, and we had to get this group thinking a little bit differently because it was a different environment. So we had to find things that would make it work the same and help with some transportation. But together, I think we can help them grow their event to be even bigger.
So let's talk about some other successes that you've been a part of in your 30-ish years at the Convention and Visitors Bureau that you feel have been successful for the community.
Yeah, a couple of things that come to mind is we secured the Outdoor Travel Writers Association. In addition to being a nice group of people, they're writers, so they write about the community. They always prided themselves on never going to a destination twice, more than once, and we had them here twice. So we were really, and it was very competitive. We had to travel, we had to present for their whole membership, and we're really proud of that. Another real success for us is during COVID, we realized we had to find a new way to market our community, to reach people that we maybe weren't getting in front of them. So we developed very state-of-the-art 360-degree tours. We have the event center, most of the sporting places here in town, the hotels, and we worked they're very state-of-the-art. You go in, you can walk through the entire building. Then we have pictures that pop up of different setups, so they can really imagine being in there. We can now get on a Zoom call with someone and walk them through these buildings, and so you can have your registration here. But we had an immediate reward for that. About that time, the University of Mary hockey team participates in a national league. because of COVID, they kind of wanted to go a little bit more regional and make them not be so big. Well, we had just done the 360-degree tours of the Capitol Ice Arena and the Starion Sports Complex in Mandan. We hadn't even posted them yet, but we sent them the links, and these national people were able to make the decision without even coming here that, yep, we can do it. So we really had an immediate reward on that. That was really kind of
That's awesome. And you touched on it a little bit. So, Convention and Visitor Bureau, to those of us in the community, it's like, how do we get people in town? And you're helping us do that. But really, it's also how do we become that gateway for tourism? And we have quite a few amenities here in the community, but are we also maybe a gateway to, as we go to the west, certainly out to Medora, Theodore Roosevelt Foundation and the library coming? How do you view that, and how do you view your role in that?
I think the library is going to open up new doors for a lot of people, and I think we have to be certain we're positioning ourselves here to not be a pass-through. A lot of people, I think, will fly in here, and we want to be sure they're going to spend time here before they go or on their way back. They're talking a lot of people, and we do not want to miss that. I think we want to be sure that we have the amenities that they need and attractions, enough to get them to spend a couple of nights here.
But we do have some facilities that we want to make sure that they are aware of right here in Bismarck, whether it's the Heritage Center or Gateway to Science. Obviously love them to spend time at our hotels and restaurants and shopping, but how do we position ourselves, and how are you positioning ourselves to show those jewels that are in the community, along with the river?
Right. And the river is something visitors really like. So our campaigns are going to revolve around those things, and we had a very successful marketing campaign this year, and I think we will build on that. Traditionally, we've spent most of our money on meetings and conventions, and this year we changed that. We allocated a nice sum of money, our media campaign, for leisure travelers, and you can see on the chart here that you'll notice the occupancy between May and September rose up, and those were the months for our leisure marketing campaign. 96,000 arrivals to Bismarck came out of that marketing campaign.
Wow!
And so it was so nice to see that for us. And although they went to a variety of places, on the bottom of that chart, 8,000 went to restaurants, 4,000 were in hotels, 51,000 shopping, 3,600 attractions, 900 sports and music venues. So that was just kind of the top part of it, but it really kind of showed us if you get the word out there, if people are interested in it, I think we will continue marketing in-state and out-state to leisure travelers. That campaign brought 80,000 users to our website, and 2,800 requested a physical visitor's guide. And now we have it online, but 2,800 people actually wanted our visitor's guide to page through and look at, which I thought was pretty amazing.
Yeah. So, and I don't know, I'm going to maybe catch you off guard here, and I apologize if I do, but how do you see, or how are our visitors arriving here? Are they arriving by car? Or are they arriving by some other method of transportation, bus or airplane?
Currently, most of them are arriving by car. Okay. Now, obviously, for national meetings and conventions, that might have more fly-in, but it appears that most of them are arriving by car.
Do you think there's something we need to do from an airport or airline traffic to maybe, because as that library opens up, I would anticipate there could be potentially more fly-in, right?
Definitely.
Is there something we should be looking at? How do we try to attract for that? We have a pretty good airport. I know that we'll probably have to be looking at, we're actually looking how we may have to expand that in the future, not too distant future probably, and how we fund that, of course. What are your thoughts?
I definitely think we will, and we really work hard to get the word out there that we do have a nice airport. But because people they're concerned about that extra leg. It's going to be an extra leg from Denver, an extra leg from Minneapolis. So we try and promote it a lot, but when you're here, you're here.
Yep.
You're 10, 15 minutes from wherever you're going to go. But I think we are going to have to be sure our airport is serving as many communities as it can, because for the TR library, people will be flying in for that, and that is one of our biggest deterrents on regional and national meetings is the air service, because it costs more for them. Adding that extra leg costs more for them. So we always have, we're a tough sell, I'm going to be honest, regionally and national we are, so we have to have the amenities and the services, whether that be the hotels, the convention center, the airlines, to make it easy for them.
So you look through the next 5 years, challenges?
You know, I think one of the biggest challenges for us is going to be keeping up. That is really, really important. Meeting event planners want nice hotels. They want meeting event space with adequate space and technology. Very important to them. They want convenience and they want the amenities. If we don't keep up with this, and with attractions and everything, other destinations are. In-state, out-of-state, they're doing it, and we'll just lose the economic impact. They're going to go somewhere, so let's make sure they're coming here.
Sure. And obviously we have hotel rooms. It's probably not that we can't adequately accommodate a lot of people, but is there a certain type of hotel room or that we are maybe missing out on that we need to be looking for, or trying to encourage someone to help us with that? You know, it doesn't have to be 1,000 rooms. That I don't think is necessarily what we're looking at.
Absolutely. You know, we have a nice variety of hotels, and that's important to have for every different levels of people's needs, but we are missing a higher end hotel. There are a lot of people looking for a nice higher end hotel, you know, whether it be a boutique hotel or just to have the nice amenities. You know, we hear that all the time. You know, Fargo has several nice hotels downtown, and they want people, and we kind of tell this a little bit when we put together bids for a group. You know, the ones, the higher end are the ones that they kind of use for the conventions. You know, they want their board, they want their speakers in there. So it is something that we are missing, and we do lose business because of that, because it's just certain groups have certain standards that they want.
Sure. And I may have missed this before, but just how is the CVB funded?
So we have a couple funding mechanisms. We are funded by 75% of the 2% lodging tax. We are also a charitable gaming organization. So we have 5 gaming sites in town, and we are also a membership CVB. Our memberships aren't expensive; they're fairly reasonable. It's $200 to belong to CVB, so that's a small portion. And of course, we have a gift shop full of North Dakota products and things unique to the area.
And that is a beautiful building, and certainly. It is actually kind of an entrance point, if you're coming from the west anyway, into Bismarck. So people should check it out, because I'll bet there's a lot of people who live here who don't even know what you have.
You know, we get that a lot. We've been getting that a lot for Christmas. People kind of thinking, I heard you might have some gift ideas here. And people, I drive by this every day, and I never knew I should stop in and look at it.
So how do you see, as we're growing, or how has growth of our communities affected your operations and of course the constant changing of media and the delivery of that? How do you see that changing? How's it affecting your marketing events, so on, and the challenges that presents?
Yeah, it has changed things a lot. Things are so much more immediate now with the social media, and how, you know, one thing that we've done on that is we've been very proactive with working with influencers and bloggers, because of course everyone's going to say, the mayor or Sheri is going to say nice things about Bismarck and Mandan. So we partner with North Dakota Tourism, and we bring in a lot of influencers and bloggers. And you have to know, you might not know what they're going to say while they're here, but we hope they have a good experience, because people will believe those that have the experience.
Right. And are there challenges for you that you see that you know, something we can do as a community, whether it's the governmental bodies trying to be supportive, or just the community in general, to help us move forward?
You know, one of the things, visitors always feel very welcome here, and I think that will continue. I think that's important. We've always said, you know, people ask you while you're here. I think that's important that a community kind of continues doing that. We always tell them one thing that's important. You won't just be one of 1,000 groups here. You'll be the group, and we'll be welcoming you. And I think it's important that as a community we continue doing that and find ways to recognize the visitors and welcome them for the importance that they bring to our community.
And I'll launch that too. That might be a way of we can attract some workforce. If we show that we're this wonderful, welcoming, homey community that's safe, it might help us attract some talent for our businesses.
It will, and you know, the thing is, local residents are almost always visitors first. They're always going to come to a community and check it out. Visitors and locals want the same thing. They want a safe, clean community with the amenities, things for their children to do, raise their families, bring their other visitors here once they live here. So it really is important. Residents will always be a visitor first, more than likely. And
well, Sheri, thank you for your time today. It's been a pleasure visiting with you, and I think you're doing a wonderful job.
Well, thank you. Thank you for asking me to be here.
Thank you for watching Bismarck Insights with Mayor Mike Schmitz. If you have specific topics or questions you'd like addressed in future episodes, email mschmitz@bismarcknd.gov. Or call the City of Bismarck at 701-355-1300. To learn more about the City of Bismarck, visit bismarcknd.gov or follow us on a variety of social media channels by searching BismarckND.gov. Bismarck Insights is a collaboration between Dakota Media Access and the City of Bismarck. You may find Bismarck Insights episodes on Government Access Channels 2 and 602, as well as on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV devices, on Radio Access 102.5 FM and on demand at freetv.org.